Welcome to Monday Motivation. Now, this podcast is not going to be long enough to even get you to work, but it will give you a lot to work on, because the most important thing you can work on in life is yourself. Welcome back to season number 2 called Life is a Climb. Now, remember, in this season, we're talking about 5 lessons I learned from climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And in episode 1, we talked about lesson number 1, which is get a dream. Now, I've already heard from many of you who were inspired by the episode. As a matter of fact, one couple actually said, we're getting a treadmill and some other weight equipment for our garage, and they're going to start working out together. Well, then they admitted, actually the husband said, I really wasn't motivated by the podcast, but by an emergency room visit. So he said, I started feeling horrible and had to be rushed to the emergency room. And the doctor said, you need to lose weight, change your diet, and work out, or you're going to die young. Well, no doubt dying is a great motivation to live more intentionally. But what I told that couple is what I'm going to tell you today. Take your goal and to the next level. In other words, it's not just I'm going to work out, I'm going to get physically healthy, but define the dream behind the goal. You see, this couple had a goal of getting weight equipment and a treadmill, and I had this conversation with them. I figured out they have kids and they have a young daughter. And all of a sudden, talking to the husband, hey, make your dream, I want to walk her down the aisle at her wedding. I want to be active so that I can actively influence her kids when she has kids. Now, that's a dream. And that's what we're talking about in this season. So if you're listening to me and you have kids, now I have 5 kids, and at this podcast taping, I've got 2 grandkids. If you have kids, make sure they're a part of your dream. Help them to dream big also. So here's a picture of me and my oldest son, Will, in a tent when he was 14 years old at 15,000 feet. Now, at the time, Will was 14, and 14 was the youngest you could be to attempt the ascent. So at this time, he was the youngest person to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And the Tanzanian Park Service had just changed the minimum age from 16 to 14, so he did it. Now, I think the youngest is 10 years old now, so but here's the point. Write down a dream. And when you do, then set some goals to help you get that dream done. So in other words, if your dream is that your daughters are going to change the world, then make a goal to date them once a month. Make a goal to spend time with your daughters in an intentional way and have those conversations and have that time where there's no technology. In other words, if you want your kids to be spiritually healthy, then that's the dream, is that they'll be spiritually healthy in their adult life. Then make a goal to pray with your kids every night. Make a goal to have dinner as a family and sit down at a table and have no technology at that table. And before you eat, hold hands and pray together and just thank God that He gave you the things you have. Now, watch this. Dreams go beyond any kind of activities you're going to do, and they move from activity to significance. So when people ask me, I tell them, yes, I work out 4 to 5 times a week, but not to get impressive biceps. And not because, well, I don't want to go to the emergency room. Well, I don't want to go to the emergency room, but my dream is I want to give myself the best shot to influence my children's children. Now, recently, we got together for Thanksgiving, and we actually got all 5 kids, their significant others, and the grandparents, and my granddaughters, so 4 generations, all the same place. Now, here's a picture of my 2 granddaughters who thought of a game called Pop, Pull Us Around in the Yard on a Boogie Board. Great game. I'd never heard of it before, but it was a lot of work, and they loved this game. We played this game for 30 minutes. Then we played tag, and then right after that, we played, hey, let's get on Pop's shoulders. Playing with 2 granddaughters is a CrossFit workout. You see, I have a goal of working out so I can actively play with my grandkids when they're teenagers. So as long as possible, my dream is I can have the energy to engage in a conversation that challenges them and encourages them in their own dreams. You see, when you get a dream, you have to realize it impacts the people around you. So get a dream that helps and blesses the people around you. If you're single, get a dream. Serve in a homeless shelter. Serve at a local church, maybe with kids. Mentor a teenager. Why? Not because, well, I need service hours, so I'm trying to get a new job. No, my dream is to be a servant leader. My dream is to develop generosity in others by being generous to them. My dream is to be a blessing to others so they can bless others. My dream is to lift others up with my life, with my words and actions. Get a dream. But here's a second lesson I want us to talk about today. Lesson number 2 from Mount Kilimanjaro is travel light. Now you'll see this picture of all this gear on the floor. You see, what do you really need to accomplish the dream? What do you need? What do you not need? In other words, you have to identify what isn't necessary. In the same way, you have to look at everything in your life and ask yourself, what is helping me get to my dream? You also have to ask, what is weighing me down or holding me back? Now, when you're climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, you have to carry everything on your back. So let me promise you something. You get very selective about what goes in your backpack. You see, at the time, Will was very studious and aggressive and had lots of dreams about education. So he was studying for the SAT. Now, if you've ever seen an SAT study book, it's always thick, and his was too. And he had all this gear, and he said, I'm going to take this SAT book. Well, listen, that book weighs 3.5 pounds. You got to keep your pack under 50 pounds, and everything adds up. And spoiler alert, Will didn't study for the SAT on our climb. He decided that he didn't need 3.5 pounds in that pack. You have to travel light. You have to get very selective. You know, when you really start looking at your gear, you start getting very creative. I don't need a pillow. This jacket, it can double as a pillow. And you're very glad that toilet paper is light. You just have to get all that gear on a scale and say, what does all this weigh? And do I really need this? You see, my dream is to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, then I'm going to do this, this, and this, but I'm not going to do this, this, and this. In other words, I'm going to let go of this because I'm dreaming about this. Dreams help you say no to things. You see, when I was going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, people would ask me, hey, do you want to go Cancun this summer? No. Why not? There's nothing wrong with Cancun, nothing wrong with all-inclusive hotels, but I'm climbing a mountain. I can't go on spring break or this summer to Cancun. I can't do everything, but I have to focus my life. And that's what a dream does. It focuses your life on something significant, and then you have to start unpacking some things in order to get to that significance. You see, people would ask me when I was training for Mount Kilimanjaro, do you want to eat some chocolate cake? Whew. Well, honestly, yes, but the answer is no. Why? Because I'm training to climb a mountain. You see, it starts with a dream. That dream aims your life in a very specific way, and then it shapes your life. And it shapes your day and your week. And all of a sudden you realize, I hope you're starting to realize, you're designed to accomplish something great. And if you're going to accomplish something great, you have to say no to the bad things in life. You see, a great dream helps you say no to nightmares. There are obvious activities in life that are bad for you. We don't have to review all that. They're just not productive, not helpful to you or anyone else. So get a dream and start traveling light. Dreams help you say no, not just to bad things, but even to say no to good things. If you want to get a hold of the best things in life, you're going to have to say no to even the good things. Because I have a dream, I'm going up. And so, hey, do you want to go down here? No, I'm going up. Do you want to buy this? No, I'm saving for this. Do you want to participate in this? No, because I only have time for this. I'm pursuing a dream. And when you pursue a dream, you say, you know what? My dream is to bring out the best in others by being the best version of myself. And I want to make a difference in my life. And I'm going up in my life. Well, a climb goes up. And if you want to go up, you have to travel light. You see, when you climb Mount Kilimanjaro, you actually camp above the clouds. Check this out. 3 nights, you camp above the clouds. It's pretty amazing. It's really hard to describe that you climb so high, you're looking down on clouds. The higher you want to go up in life, the less you can hold on to. So ask yourself today, what is weighing me down? What is weighing you down? Maybe it's a burden. Maybe it's something you're dealing with that's distracting you from your true potential. Maybe it's bitterness. Bitterness will weigh you down. You can't hold on to a grudge from the past and dream something great in the future at the same time. Let go of bitterness. Maybe it's a bad habit. Maybe it's an addiction. Listen, especially men, we have a lot of addictions. 3 main ones: alcohol, porn, prescription drugs. You want to get to your dream? Travel light. Stop drinking. Stop looking at porn. Stop thinking a pill is going to solve your problems. Maybe you're pouring yourself into work. Maybe you're excessively working out. Maybe you're doing things that aren't necessarily bad. They're just not great for you. If you do every day you play golf, every weekend you're going hunting, every day you're going fishing. Maybe you're worried about something. Maybe you're weighed down by anxious thoughts. Maybe you're weighed down by guilt. Maybe you're weighed down by shame. Listen, whatever is causing your life to feel heavy, you have to travel light. I love this challenge from the Bible. There's a verse in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 that says, "So we must get rid of everything that slows us down, especially the sin that just won't let go." You see, there are things in our life that weigh us down that aren't sin, but either way, we need to travel light. Why? And we must be determined to run the race that is ahead of us. You have to have a destination. You have to have a dream, because once you have a dream, you're on the move. And once you're on the move, you have to travel light. We can't get weighed down by the things of this world. So here's the lesson for today: travel light. Don't miss this. The higher you want to go in life, the less trivial and temporary stuff you can hold on to. The more people you want to influence, the less things you can be involved in. You have to really focus on that dream and travel light to get to it. And when you do, it's very rewarding, though. Check out this picture. Stars at night from high elevation. I've been to many places on the planet. I've seen lots of stars, and I love to camp just above 10,000 feet. I was just in the Sierra Wilderness recently and camped above 10,000 feet. And no matter where you are in the world, when you get over 10,000 feet, you actually see all the stars. The night sky lights up. And you don't just see the Milky Way, you see the hue of the Milky Way. You have to travel light to get that high. If you want to get that high in life, you have to have a dream and you have to travel light. No 5-pound SAT books, no iPads. We had to say no to a lot of things to get to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. Now, Jesus taught about saying no to things, and he actually called it fasting. Every year, the church I lead fasts for 21 days to start the year. And I want to encourage you to try fasting. What does that mean? Just give something up for 21 days. Maybe it's bad for you. Maybe it's good, just not the best. Maybe it's good, just not great. You may think, well, wait a minute, fasting, that's for elite Christians like monks who live in the mountains of Switzerland. No, it's for all of us. So fasting, it's just simply saying no to something in your life to find the yes, God has for you. In order to get God's best this year, best in this new chapter, best in this new mindset of your life, in order to experience God's best in your life, to really get in on the adventure, you're going to have to travel light, which means you have to let go of some things. You're going to have to say yes to the best. I'm going to reach my dream, so I'm going to give up YouTube binge watching every night. Notice what Jesus says. And remember, Jesus, the most influential person who's ever lived, Matthew chapter 6, verse 16, he says, and when you fast, notice, not if you fast, not if you're a super Christian, not if you're a monk who lives in Switzerland, but if you really want to follow me and get the most out of life and experience life. And Jesus tells us how. He says, fast. Don't make it obvious as hypocrites do. Jesus called out hypocrites too, by the way. If you call hey, you're a hypocrite. Listen, he said, don't be a hypocrite and act like you're all miserable and disheveled. And so people admire you for fasting and say, hey, what's wrong with you? Well, so Jesus says, don't do that. So, what's wrong with you? Well, I'm fasting. I'm traveling light. Haven't had Starbucks coffee for 9 days, giving it up. I'm all in for Jesus. No. Just take a deep breath, travel light, and say no to some things. Try it. What do you need to let go of? The spiritual discipline of fasting is just saying no to something. And I want to encourage you, just try it for 21 days. So decide today what you're going to give up, and don't do that, whether that's a bad habit or something good that's not great. Just try for 21 days in order to focus on God's best for you, to travel light, to reach that dream. Maybe you're going to fast from a certain food, like no dessert this week, no drive-thrus, no Dr. Peppers. Hey, no lattes, no alcohol, no monster drinks. Even more important than maybe a food is I'm not going to look at Facebook for 21 days or Instagram or Snapchat. I'm not going to look at a TikTok video. I'm not going to watch my favorite TV show. I'm going to fast from Netflix, video games. I'm going to fast from the news. You would be amazed at what happens when you start to travel light, because here's the reality. We are overloaded. People that you meet, and even you listening right now, you have too many things that you've said yes to. You're carrying too many things around. And if you want this year to be different than last year, if you want this new season of your life to be different than last season, there's some things that you don't want to bring into this year. The number one reason our lives get overloaded is we say yes to too many things. We get overloaded. We get weighed down. We get overburdened. So take the next 21 days to get back to the best version of yourself. Get a clear view of the dream. What's the climb? And the climb you want to be on is going to be a yes and a no to some things. So let's just all agree that we're not going to wait till we meet a doctor in the emergency room to tell us what we already know. We're all just passing through. Now, those who know me well know my dad has been in heaven for over 5 years now. He is definitely my hero and my greatest encourager, and definitely my Monday motivation. But when I lost him, and I really got to put life in a lot of perspective, because you know what my dad took with him to heaven? Nothing. Now, my dad's best friend, Charles, just died last month. I spoke to his wife yesterday on the phone. Charles was an incredibly successful man in the eyes of the world. He had a cool lake house. He had a cool boat. He had a cool convertible sports car, one of the nicest golf carts I'd ever seen. It was gold. It sat 6 people. You know how much Charles took with him when he died? 0. You say, wait a minute, is there anything wrong with cars, houses, boats? Nope. Unless you're holding on to them. There's nothing wrong with having money. It's when money has you. And the question is, are you willing to let go of some things that are weighing you down in order to elevate your life? You see, decide to travel light. That's what my dad did, because my dad didn't take any of the stuff to heaven, but he left a legacy, which includes me. And his life wasn't about possessions. His life was about the most valuable things, because the most valuable things in life aren't things. It's people. So decide what you're going to say no to. Decide to travel light, and I'll see you at the top. Thank you so much for joining us today on Monday Motivation. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with a friend, and we'll see you next week.